close your eyes for a second and just imagine like trying to picture a world without cars. It's hard to even like fathom, right? I mean, we use them for pretty much everything, but have you ever actually thought about like how this amazing invention came to be? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today, the story of Mercedes Benz. Get ready for some serious twists and turns from humble beginnings to this global symbol of luxury and innovation. We'll be exploring the incredible life of Carl Benz, the guy who literally dreamt of a world like powered by cars. But we're not stopping there. We'll also be uncovering the often forgotten story of his wife, Bertha Benz, her spirit, and her unwavering belief in her husband's vision. It was like super pivotal to the company's success. And of course, you can't talk about Mercedes Benz without acknowledging its past, including, its ties to Nazi Germany during World War II. So let's start at the very beginning. The birth of Carl Benz back in 1844 in Germany. His early life was marked by tragedy. He lost his father when he was only 2. This loss forced his mom to take on a bunch of jobs just to get by, But seeing her dedication, her hard work, really instilled in young Carl this deep respect for perseverance and this drive to succeed. And even though he faced some serious financial hardship, Carl, he excelled in school. And at just 15, he entered the Karlsruhe Polytechnic School to study mechanical engineering. Now, think about this for a second. This was a time when engineering was really pushing the boundaries. Imagine the thrill of working with steam engines and the very beginnings of industrial machinery.
Yeah.
It was like a super exciting time, this whole era of innovation. It fueled Carl's imagination and set him on this path that would, change the world. After he graduated, Carl held up a few different engineering jobs, always, observing, learning, and trying to find ways to improve the machines around him. And while he was working with stationary engines, he became more and more fascinated with this idea of a self-propelled vehicle. Now, back then, horse-drawn carriages, they were the main way to get around, right? But Carl, he saw their limitations. They were slow, they relied on animals, and they required a lot of care and maintenance. He imagined a future where people could travel faster, more efficiently, and with more freedom.
Yeah.
So at 27, driven by this vision, Carl took a huge leap of faith. He partnered with August Ritter to open an iron foundry. This was a risky move, leaving a secure job to chase this dream. Unfortunately, Ritter turned out to be a pretty unreliable business partner. He created some obstacles for Carl and really put his plans at risk. But then, as luck would have it, this remarkable woman entered Carl's life, Bertha Ringer, his future wife. And Bertha, she wasn't just a supportive partner, she was a visionary in her own right. Recognizing the potential in Carl and his ideas, she actually used her dowry money, which was like a really significant sum at the time, to buy out Ritter. Talk about a woman who believed in her husband's dreams. Carl and Bertha got married. And over the next 10 years, Carl secured numerous patents for components that would, they become essential to the modern automobile. And this is where it gets super interesting. I mean, we're not just talking about, any old inventions. Carl developed the battery ignition system, the gear shift, the clutch, the carburetor, the cooling system, the spark plug, even the speed regulator. These were groundbreaking innovations that paved the way for the cars we drive today. In 1885, after years and years of hard work, Carl, he achieved his dream. He completed his first self-propelled car. But the road to success, much like the roads back then, it wasn't exactly smooth. Carl's early models, they faced a lot of challenges. Imagine trying to convince people to give up their trusty horses for this noisy, smoky contraption that could barely reach 10 miles an hour. People were skeptical and sales were slow. To keep the company going, Carl had to sell shares to investors, and eventually he lost control of the very company he'd poured his heart and soul into. He was even demoted within his own company. Can you imagine the frustration, the disappointment he must have felt? But Carl Benz, he wasn't a man to be easily discouraged. Fueled by his unwavering belief in his vision, he left the company that he had founded, and he joined forces with Max Rose and Friedrich Wilhelm Esslinger. They were the owners of a bicycle shop, and together they formed a new company, Benz & C. This partnership gave Carl the resources and the support he needed to keep refining his automobile designs. In 1886, he released Model 2, followed by Model 3 just 2 years later. And it was this Model 3 that would catch the eye of someone very special, his wife, Bertha. Carl was a bit hesitant to publicize the Model 3. He was afraid of setbacks and public ridicule. But Bertha, she saw the potential. She believed it was time to show the world what this car could do. So in 1888, without even telling Carl, she set off on this daring adventure that would forever change the course of automotive history. Bertha just packed up the Model 3, grabbed her 2 teenage sons, and took off on this 106-kilometer trip from Mannheim to Pforzheim to visit her mom. And this was no easy drive. Remember, this is 1888. We're talking like no paved roads. And the Model 3, even though it was groundbreaking, it was still pretty early in its development. So Bertha, she ran into a lot of challenges along the way. The Model 3, it had this tiny fuel tank, like only 4.5 liters. So she had to stop all the time to refuel. At one point, she stopped at a pharmacy to buy Ligroin, which was like a petroleum solvent they used as fuel back then. And get this, that pharmacy, it's considered the first gas station in the world. Can you imagine the look on the pharmacist's face when this woman just pulls up in this weird horseless carriage asking for Ligroin? But running out of fuel, that was just the start of her problems. The roads were rough. A lot of times they were like impassable. She had to stop over and over to make repairs using like whatever she could find. And when the brakes, which were made of wood back then, they started to wear down, she stopped at a cobbler shop and had him install leather ones. I mean, talk about resourceful. After 12 hours of driving, facing all these crazy setbacks, overcoming obstacles that would have made most people just like turn around and go home, Bertha, she made it. She arrived at her mom's house in Pforzheim. And the first thing she did was she sent a telegram to Carl, letting him know she was there. And this trip, this wasn't just like a personal win for Bertha, it was huge for the automobile. News of Bertha's, her audacious journey, it spread like wildfire. It captured everyone's imagination, and it generated a ton of publicity for the Model 3 and for cars in general, really. Suddenly, people started to see that these vehicles, they weren't just some novelty. They could be practical, reliable, and capable of long-distance travel. Bertha had single-handedly changed the way the public saw cars.
Yep.
And really paved the way for them to become mainstream. But, Bertha's impact, it went even further than just publicity. He also gave Carl some really valuable feedback on the car's performance. From her own experience on that long, difficult journey, she was able to point out areas that needed improvement. For example, those leather brakes we talked about. Those became a standard feature thanks to Bertha's, her quick thinking, really. So, Bertha's journey, it solidified her place as a pioneer in automotive history. Her courage, her determination, and her belief in her husband's vision, it all played a critical role in the company's success. She wasn't just Carl's wife. She was his partner, his confidant, and a driving force behind the Benz brand. And as Benz and C continued to grow and innovate, a rival company popped up, Daimler Motors, founded by Gottlieb Daimler and Wilhelm Maybach. Daimler Motors, they quickly gained a reputation for their high-quality vehicles, especially the 35 HP Mercedes model, which was named after Mercedes Jelinek, the daughter of a wealthy Austrian businessman who was a key distributor for Daimler Motors. The Mercedes model, it was a real game changer.
It was powerful, it was stylish, and it set a new bar for luxury and performance. The competition between Benz and Sai and Daimler Motors, it really pushed both companies to innovate and improve. But fate, it had another twist in store. In the 1920s, Germany, it faced a really bad economic downturn. It affected every industry, and the automotive sector was hit especially hard. Both Benz and Sai and Daimler Motors, they were struggling to survive. And faced with the possibility of going under the two rival companies, they made a pretty monumental decision. In 1926, they merged, forming a new automotive powerhouse, Daimler-Benz. This merger, it brought together like two of the biggest names in automotive history, Carl Benz and Gottlieb Daimler. And with their combined expertise and resources, they were able to create this brand that would become, synonymous with luxury, performance, and just top-notch engineering, Mercedes Benz. The new company, they took on the name Mercedes Benz, honoring Daimler's successful Mercedes model, while also recognizing Benz's pioneering work, right? And that iconic Mercedes star emblem. The one that symbolized Daimler's ambition to motorize, everything. Land, sea, and air. That became the logo for the new brand. And so a new chapter in the story of Mercedes-Benz began. And it took off pretty quickly, too. The Mercedes-Benz brand became this symbol of status, success. Their cars were the favorites of the wealthy, even heads of state. And the company, they just kept innovating, introducing new technologies and setting new standards for the entire automotive industry. But, the rise of Mercedes-Benz happened at the same time as a pretty dark period in German history, the rise of Nazi Germany. And like a lot of German companies back then, Daimler-Benz was forced to help with the Nazi war effort. They had to stop making civilian cars, and instead their factories were used to manufacture vehicles and trucks for the German military. And this connection to the Nazi regime,
It cast a long shadow over the company's legacy. After the war, Daimler-Benz, they faced a lot of scrutiny and criticism for their role in supporting the Nazi war machine.
They had to come to terms with their past and find a way to rebuild their image in a world that had been, well, forever changed by the horrors of war. In the aftermath of World War II, Daimler-Benz had this huge task ahead of them, rebuilding their reputation and their business. Their infrastructure was damaged, they didn't have a lot of resources, and they were carrying the weight of their wartime involvement. But just like Carl Benz himself, the company showed resilience and a determination to move on. At first, Daimler-Benz focused on making essential vehicles, like ambulances and police cars. This was a strategic move, It let them help with the rebuilding of Germany, while also distancing themselves from the wartime production. It was a way to show they were committed to serving the people's needs and to start regaining public trust. And as Germany's economy began to recover, Daimler-Benz slowly shifted back to producing passenger cars. Throughout the 1950s and 60s, the company released a whole bunch of successful luxury models that helped to reestablish Mercedes Benz as a global leader in the auto industry. These new models, they were known for their elegance, performance, and their innovative engineering. And they helped to solidify the brand's image as, luxurious, high-quality, prestigious. But Mercedes-Benz, they didn't just stop there. They kept pushing the limits of automotive technology. They introduced some groundbreaking safety features like the crumple zone, which was designed to absorb the impact energy during a crash, and the anti-lock braking system, or ABS, which kept the wheels from locking up when you braked hard. These innovations, they set new standards for the entire industry and showed Mercedes-Benz's commitment to safety and engineering excellence. In the decades that followed, Mercedes-Benz just kept releasing these iconic models that captured the hearts and imaginations of, car enthusiasts all over the world. The sporty SL, the elegant S-Class, the rugged G-Wagon. Each car became this symbol of success, sophistication, technological advancement. They represented the culmination of decades of innovation, craftsmanship, and this constant pursuit of automotive perfection. And by 2022, Mercedes-Benz had sold a staggering 2.4 million vehicles globally, which is, it's pretty amazing. It really shows how enduring the brand is, how committed they are to innovation, and their ability to adapt to the ever-changing global car market. From a tiny workshop in 19th century Germany to this global icon, the story of Mercedes-Benz is really a testament to the power of human ingenuity, resilience, and this relentless pursuit of excellence. It's a story full of highs and lows, innovations and controversies. But through it all, the brand has remained this symbol of luxury, performance, and engineering prowess. And the story of Mercedes-Benz reminds us that even the most groundbreaking inventions, they often start with just one person, a passionate individual who dares to dream differently. Carl Benz's vision, along with Bertha's unwavering support and her audacious spirit, it created this legacy that continues to shape the world we live in today. Their story teaches us about the importance of never giving up, the power of working together, and the impact that a single act of courage can have on the course of history.
So next time you see a Mercedes-Benz driving down the street, take a second to think about the long and winding road that led to its creation. Remember, the challenges they overcame, the innovations they pioneered, and the legacy of those who dared to dream of a world powered by automobiles.
What do you think about Bertha's role in the company's success? Was it just luck? Or was it strategic brilliance? It's something to think about. And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive into automotive history, be sure to like and subscribe.